Hello leaders, I'm Vanessa G. Nelson, and welcome to my 5th monthly Nelson HR report. I plan to come on every month to talk to you about HR hot topics to keep you informed. So let's start today by talking about the Michigan paid sick leave. So leaders, the Michigan paid sick leave is due to go into effect on March 29, 2019. So Michigan employers with 50 or more employees have to provide paid sick leave for full-time employees. Those full-time employees must work at least 25 hours a week in order to be eligible. Now, generally, all private sector employees that work 25 hours or more are eligible. However, there are some exemptions, and those exemptions include your administrative, executive, your professionals, pretty much the exempt employees. Also includes your seasonable employees, your variable hour employees, employees who are under 18, or employees whose primary work location is not Michigan. So those type of employees would be exempt. And employers should compensate for sick leave at the usual rate of pay. However, you don't have to include things like overtime and holidays or bonuses in that amount. Also, employees may use up to 40 hours per year, and up to 40 hours of paid sick leave per year can be carried from year to year. Okay? Remember, employees generally can use paid sick leave as it's accrued. However, newly hired employees may have to wait 90 days. All right? And which life events qualify for paid sick leave? Well, there's a couple options: mental or physical illness or injury of an employee or his or her family member, or if the employee or his or her family member is a victim of domestic violence or sexual abuse. If you're non-compliant with this law, it could be stiff fines and penalties, as well as you'd have to provide back pay for those times when that person was off sick and they weren't paid. So leaders, you want to make sure you're compliant. You want to make sure you get on top of this and learn as much as you can about it. If you need more information, I do have a blog on my website, www.nelsonhrreport.com, and you can go there and get more information. Next topic. Now, let's go to the next topic, which is the Michigan minimum wage. As you know, Michigan is due for an increase, and that increase is due to take place in late March, probably around the same time as the Michigan paid sick leave. And the minimum wage is going up 20 cents. Now, currently, the minimum wage is $9.25 an hour, and it's due to go up to $9.45 an hour and $3.60 for tipped employees. And if you're wondering which employers have to pay minimum wage, any employer with 2 or more employees has to pay the minimum wage, and they have to be at least 16 years old. And leaders, remember that the minimum wage is also slated to increase to $9.65 in 2020 and to $9.87 in 2021. Okay, leaders, the next topic is the IRS. The mileage rate increase for 2019. It went up from 54 cents to 58 cents per mile. So you get a little extra there. Also, 20 cents per mile for covering moving or medical purposes, which went up 2 cents from 18 cents a mile, and 14 cents a mile for driven for charitable organizations, and that statute pretty much stays the same. The next topic is E-Verify. E-Verify is an online system that confirms employment eligibility. As you know, when you hire new employees, they have to confirm that they're authorized to work in the United States within 3 days of hire. So E-Verify is a check system that a lot of employers use to make sure employees are authorized to work in the United States and that they are eligible. So during the government shutdown, E-Verify is down as well, it's closed. So employers cannot use the E-Verify. So they asked me, what should we do if we can't use E-Verify? So what I would suggest is that you use the I-9 forms, have your employees complete those within the 3 days as typically required. And then after the e-verify goes back up after the shutdown, then you want to make sure you're watching their website, because they will most likely give out information of what you should do after they go back live. Or you can contact e-verify and say, hey, I have all these I-9s, what do I do? And they'll be able to help you with that. But you want to make sure you still keep your documentation, your I-9s. You continue to follow the law. And also, it's a good idea to make a note that the system is down, and that's why you're using your manual ID forms. Now it's time for tip of the month. And the tip of the month this month is HR audits. It's a brand new year, and it's a great time to do an HR audit on your HR functions to make sure you're operating as optimal and efficient as possible. And also, you'll be surprised what you can save by doing an HR audit. In my 10 years in business, I have conducted multiple audits. And there's not one time that I didn't uncover something going on in the organization that was unknown to the employers. And some of the things that I uncovered included sexual harassment, FMLA abuse, theft. Yes, we actually found somebody stealing who was allowed to handle money without any internal controls, and inconsistent disciplines. In one instance, there was several managers in different areas, and they were disciplining employees in different ways for the same offenses. That was an issue. We've uncovered bullying, classification issues, misclassifications of exempt employees, for instance. In most cases, it's been turnover issues, and we've been able to find out why there were turnover issues. So, some of the other reasons why you want to conduct an HR audit include you want to make sure you're compliant with the laws and regulations that include, like the FMLA, the EEOC, the ADA. Are you, if somebody is exhausting their FMLA, are you looking at ADA, for instance? The Fair Labor Standards Act, the COBRA Act, the OSHA Act, the Warren Act. Are you compliant with all those different laws and regulations? This gives you a time to sit down and really look at your practices. Also, you want to make sure you start with your mission. You look at your mission and you make sure everything you're doing is aligned to your mission. This gives you opportunity to make sure you are aligned to your mission. Make sure your workers are classified correctly. You want to review the personnel files to make sure you don't have medical information and other information in there that shouldn't be in there. You want to make sure your I-9 forms are compliant, because if you make one mistake on each I-9 form, it can add up to a lot of different fines on you. Check to make sure your policies and your hiring practices are aligned to your mission as well as compliant. You want to make sure that it's fair to everyone and that there's no discriminatory practices involved or things that could cause a disparate action. Another thing is ensuring consistency in your training. Make sure your employees have the proper training and your managers are having the proper training. Look at your job descriptions. Are they aligned to the actual job? You know, I've went in and did job descriptions for people who've had the same job descriptions for 30 years, and the job is completely different than the job description. So you want to make sure that it is aligned to the job and your mission. And HR systems, make sure your system is user-friendly. I've worked with companies where the employees just didn't even use the system because it was too difficult or it was too old. So, and you're just paying money for something you're not even using. So you want to make sure your HR systems are aligned to your mission and they're user-friendly. And then you want to make sure your compensation schedule is up to date. So you want to make sure you're paying people fairly. So, and there's a multitude of other issues that you could look for and also discover when you conduct an HR audit. You will be surprised. If you need help conducting your HR audit, you can go to my website www.nelsonhrreport.com, and you can download our free HR audit checklist, and it's under the resources tab, and it'll tell you step by step how to conduct your HR audit. And if you need more information than that, you can always get my book, and I'll talk to you about that at the end of this video. And also, I have 2 videos on my website of how to conduct an HR audit and why you should conduct an HR audit. So leaders, make sure you conduct your audit. Your boss will be very proud of you when you're able to bring to him, hey, look, boss, I saved this much money. And who knows, they may reward you. So, well, that concludes my January 2019 monthly Nelson HR report. Thank you for watching. And remember, love yourself, enjoy your family, and be safe.
Learn how to protect your organization and improve your bottom line. Get your copy of Vanessa's book, 101 Costly HR Mistakes and How to Fix Them. Her book is packed full of real-life experiences and available to you now at Amazon.com or NelsonHRreport.com.